Hello, this is Rod McLeod from ChorusLogic, and I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what's new in CelticPipes 3. There's a long list, so I'm not going into any real depth. I'll just show what's available very quickly. So here we have the CelticPipes 3 screen. We have the file manager on the left here, and this is a window into your scores. Wherever you have them on the disk, you just select the location here, or browse as normal to find it. You open the files by clicking. And you may notice there are different file formats in the list. There's BWW, CEP, or the new format CEPX. So it doesn't really matter, they'll all appear in the list, and all you do is click on them to open. The pane on the left is hidden and shown by this left button here. Similarly, the sound pane at the bottom can be shown and hidden. And on the right, there's another pane which is reserved for editing and properties. If you have property selected and there's nothing selected, you'll see this, but if you click on, say, a measure, you'll get all the properties of it, which you can vary if you like. And same with notes. You'll just see what properties are appropriate to the object you selected. Clef, time signature. And for editing, it's this familiar toolbars, which you've maybe seen in previous versions of CelticPipes, and dropping items, dropping notes, structure, embellishments, and various other items. So that's as before, and your sound toolbar will get into playing in a wee while. But in addition, there's support for French and German language, depending on how your PC is set up. So the buttons should display the appropriate language for your location. In addition, there are themes. Now, if there's this dark theme we're looking at, and there's a lighter theme. So some people may prefer this. You can get it very close to old CelticPipes and use menus if you want, if you prefer it that way. I prefer using the panes, much quicker. And if you're editing, you always need the right one open. So, around the corners of the file pane are various buttons. You've seen this one. This one is for sample scores, and you'll see the tooltip there. I'm going to go back to dark theme, which I prefer, easier in my eyes. So if you press this button, there's not a lot of difference because we're looking at similar files, but when you click on this, it will load the sample files. If you get no others, they're good for playing with. And if you want to delete one, select it, remove if you want. I'm not going to. And this is for sharing, so you can share by email or Dropbox. And if you first time you select either, you'll have to go through a setup process. And the process is described in the online help. I'm going to browse for test files. So I'm going to show you annotation next. This is now more flexible. You still have to go into annotation mode, but you can grab annotations now and move them about anywhere you like, even into the header or footer. Text annotations or image, and if you notice there, I double-clicked to edit. And it's got all the usual properties, so I won't go any further. That's annotation, and always remember to go back into normal mode so you can do other things. There's this color button is pretty similar for coloring notes. Note spacing now, this is quite different in CelticPipes 3. It's got, previously you had manual moving plus an even option, which is what this will probably do by default when I hit it. Yes, even spacing. If you right click on this button, you'll see there are 4 different spacing options. Manual is when you want to just move things about. That's the only mode you can move things about in. Even, and then there's by values. A loose by value and a much tighter one. These use Fibonacci numbers if you're interested. And in addition, there are other parameters you can vary. The right and left margin of each bar, and distance from grace notes, minimum max distances, preferred distances, distances between root notes, etc. So you can configure the spacing quite well now. Back to even. Right, so I'll close most of these down now. And I'm going to create some pretend sets. So I'll go back up. I'm not sure if I mentioned, when you click into a folder to see its files, go right down to the depths if you want. To go back up, you right click. This is quite crucial. Otherwise, it's not immediately obvious, but this is what you do. Right click to navigate back up. I'll just go into scores here. So I'm going to load some random files and create a pretend set with them. Combine scores, yeah. So this is as before. Create a set, current order. So here's a set here. Yeah, so now sets are, well, they're editable for a start. Oops. You don't have to separate them and muck about. What spacing have we got? Yeah, it should be manual. Yeah. I'm just not clicking on it right. Yeah. Delete things so you can edit. And in addition, you have an overall header now. So just do big set. So this goes onto the whole header, and you can stick a footer onto, or reserve for page numbers, left and right. And you can also edit using this. So whatever you want to do, you have a bit more flexibility with this. You can change the colors if you want. So that's the main thing about sets. You can set the tempo for a tune in the set if you click on it. So maybe make this one something weird. So each tune is individually editable and has its own properties, unlike before. Another thing that's new is you can now export to MP3 as well as WAV. So we'll go to this one. We now have a new way of selecting notes within beamed groups of notes. And previously, if you clicked on a note that was beamed, the whole group would highlight. But now you can actually select any of the individual notes and modify just the note using arrow keys up, down, right, left. You can use the mouse too. And so it's just the notes that you change that will vary with. So it's much easier to select a note and modify a group. I'll make space here. And so to move or adjust a group, you select the whole group and while it's still highlighted, drag it about. We also have a new, more flexible way of adding first and second time endings. The original method still works, just dropping them on from the toolbar. But there's a more flexible way now, so if you select the notes where you want the marker to cover, and once they're highlighted, click in the appropriate button, first for example. Do the same here, maybe for second, maybe just to show you can put markers in the same measure, down to a single note if you want. So it's highly flexible and will help with importing BWW tunes that tend to have a lot of these structures. Yeah, for example, this one does. It's got a single note first and second here. I should have mentioned earlier that these panes can move about. You can adjust the size of things if you want. It's very flexible, as well as switching things off and on. Get rid of these. So if you look at the audio pane below here, you can see we've got a metronome button. We have a count-in button too, which is used only in association with the metronome. And the metronome itself has properties which you can vary. Some items are disabled because there's only one track. You can specify which track to indicate if there's more than one. So we'll pick this one. It's got 2 tracks. And you can see now we can say which track we indicate, 1 or 2. So you pick 1. So some of these properties are not just related to the metronome. The count-in is obviously, but the indicator track isn't. The chorus effect isn't. This is something that is pretty basic at the moment, but you don't want to go mental with it. Most of the time you want this switched off. The more tracks you have, the more realistic this will sound. So you can have a play about with it, see what you think. So we also have a new feature which will check for updates for you. If there are updates, we don't have any yet because this is the first version of CelticPipes 3, so keep checking here and it should update. Bar numbering. There is now a new feature to label lead-in bars. On the bar numbering option, this is what we had below. So if we select lead-in bars, you should see the difference. We also have a new transposition feature with the high and low wrapping preference, which will wrap within the range of the instrument, high or low, or to the nearest. Flat key signatures are supported. Not too useful at the moment, but they will be in the future. Drumming. Just clear some spaces here. Yeah, roughs now are full-sized notes. This doesn't make much sense, but I'm just demonstrating. Oops. Size of them. So give me any size you want. And I think that's all the main features of CelticPipes 3. So all the new features anyway. So I hope you enjoy playing about with an evaluation and see what you think, and hope you enjoy using it. Thank you.